You ever get that feeling that no matter what the news says about the national economy, things in your own town, right where you live, just feel kind of stuck? Well, what if the most powerful economic engine in America wasn't on Wall Street or in Washington? What if it's right on your main street? Okay, let's dig in and uncover this hidden economic power that's sitting in all of our communities.
You know, it all comes back to these words. We all know them. But what if we stopped thinking of them as, I don't know, just some beautiful old poetry? What if we saw them for what they really are? A blueprint, a practical guide for people agreeing to work together to become way stronger than they could ever be on their own. And wow, did that blueprint work? I mean, just look at what we built together when we had this cooperative mindset. These are monumental, nation-defining projects. No single person, no single town could have pulled this off. Not even close. Together, we built something truly incredible.
Okay, so that brings us to the big question, right? It's kind of the elephant in the room. If we're so great at this national level success, why does it feel like so many of us in our own homes are just treading water, or maybe even falling behind? There's this huge disconnect between the big picture story and our daily reality.
And here's why. It's because at the end of the day, the national GDP doesn't pay your rent, right? Those big abstract numbers from DC, they don't mean a thing when the bills are due. The real economy, the one that actually matters, it's not in some spreadsheet. It's right where you and I live.
And that right there brings us to the absolute core of what we're talking about today. See, your town, it's this incredible, powerful economic engine. And honestly, it's probably the most underutilized one in the entire country.
So just how much power are we talking about here? Get this, billions, with a B. That's the kind of spending power we're looking at from all the households in a pretty typical American town, every single year. This isn't government money, this isn't Wall Street money, this is our money. And you know, for decades, that incredible power, it's stayed local. It's circulated right there in the community, building up Main Street, paying the wages of your neighbors. It created a real stability. But then, something started to change. So what happened? Well, there's actually a name for it. It's a concept from economics that just perfectly describes what's going on with all that local money. They call it the leaky bucket problem.
Okay, so what exactly is this leaky bucket? It's a really simple idea. Imagine all the money that gets spent in your community gets poured into a big bucket. Now, instead of that money staying in the bucket to be used over and over, it springs a leak, a big one. Almost immediately, it just drains out. Every dollar you spend at a huge national chain or a giant online store, poof, it's gone. It flows out to some faraway corporate HQ, never to be seen again.
And look, this didn't just happen overnight. It was more like a slow drip, a tiny leak that started back in the 70s with the rise of the big box stores. But then, decade after decade, that drip got faster and faster, turning into a steady stream. And now, well, now it's a full-on torrent.
And this is just how bad it's gotten. It's pretty shocking, actually. Today, in a lot of American towns, a staggering 95% of all that local spending power, those billions of dollars we talked about, just leaks right out, gone. Only 5% actually sticks around to help the community. Just think about that for a second.
So, okay, this isn't just some abstract economic idea, you know? This constant drain of money, it has real, tangible consequences. The kind of stuff we're all starting to feel in our day-to-day lives.
I mean, check out this data. When local money vanishes, big outside money rushes in to fill the vacuum. And what do they buy? Our assets. Think about it. 1 in every 4 homes sold in the U.S. today is bought by a large institution, not a family. And almost half our farmland, it's controlled by these huge, distant funds.
And what's the end result of all this? It's this feeling, this really unsettling feeling that's becoming way too common. We're losing ownership of our own towns. We're basically becoming renters in the very places we grew up.
But, and this is so important, here's where the story takes a turn. This is not our destiny. It's not inevitable. It's a systems problem. And the great thing about systems, they can be changed. They can be fixed.
So how do we do it? How do we fix this leak? Well, the good news is, the answer isn't about making some huge, painful sacrifice. It's much simpler. It's about intention. It's about understanding that even small shifts in our habits can create these massive, positive ripple effects.
Just look at the journey of a single dollar. When you spend it at a national chain, it's like a drop of water on a hot pan. It's gone, instantly. But when you spend that same dollar at a locally owned business, say your neighbor's coffee shop or that family-run hardware store, oh, that dollar sticks around. It pays a local salary. That person then buys groceries from the local market. It just keeps circulating, building wealth right here at home.
And what you get is this amazing upward spiral. It's a virtuous cycle. See, when dollars stay local, our businesses get stronger. When they're stronger, they hire more local people. When families have good jobs, they thrive. And when families thrive, the whole town's economy grows.
And here's the absolute craziest, most hopeful part of this whole thing. We don't have to completely change how we live. Seriously. Just a modest shift in our spending. Just plugging a small piece of that massive 95% leak, that alone can double or even triple a town's entire economic output. The leverage is just immense.
And that brings us right back to where we started. It brings the whole journey full circle. We can actually rebuild that more perfect union they talked about, but not from the top down. We do it from the inside out, starting in our own communities.
And the thing to remember is this. We don't need to wait for some hero to ride in and save the day. We don't need a bailout. The power to fix this, it's been right here in our towns the whole time. The resources, those billions and billions in local spending, they've always been ours.
So really, there's only one question left. Now that we know this, what are we going to do about it? Are we just going to keep letting all that incredible power drain away? Or are we going to remember what we're capable of when we decide to work together?
Because that original idea, that founding blueprint, it's just as true today as it ever was. The choice is ours. The power is ours. We, the people, we still can. We absolutely can.